this one is gonna be kind of shout and straight to it. So I watched the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 direct, and now I've called out Xbox and PlayStation on their bullshit on not knowing how to talk about the game experience, on not knowing how to talk about the overall handling in the game, and how they only talk about, you know, 4K gaming, HDR, 60 frames a second, and the graphic fidelity of the game. How they don't really talk about the end game experience, um, and all that good shit. I hope you guys over at Sony and you guys over at Microsoft took notes, because this direct, while it was only about 15 minutes long, did nothing but talk about the in-game performance, the handling of the game, the character development of the game, all of the above. It did nothing about talking 1080p, 60 frames a second, 4K. It did nothing to talk about that. They talked about the game, the overall handling of it, how you're going to experience, how playing about it. And they even said at the end, we just scratched the surface of this. Now, I did have a few grievances with it. Just a few, not many. They showed off the Pro Controller. Why is it the Pro Controller looks like they don't know what they're doing? This here is the Splatoon Pro Controller. You can tell here that they don't know what they're doing. They just dip the grip handles here in color, and that's it. That's it. Pardon me. You can tell that they don't know what they're doing when it comes to this Pro Controller, because there's plenty of designs on the actual controller itself that if they would have colored in those overall designs, it would have been a hell of a lot better. But where there's actual designs on it, it's just black. That you can't tell unless you own it. Pardon me, yourself. Unless you yourself own this, you have no idea. And now they're coming out with another one, and they've done the same thing. They've colored in the grips, and they've made a long line here and another line here. It looks like basically a sword almost, or an off X, if you will. And I was gonna buy it. Like, I'm huge on Xenoblade. I love Xenoblade. I have Chronicles X Special Edition, and it's boxed up and all that. I keep it really nice condition. I have two versions of Xenoblade Chronicles: the original. I have the 3DS version, and I have the original version on the Wii. So I love Xenoblade. It's a great. Pardon me. If I can quit coughing. It's a great series. But this is what I'm talking about. This direct is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to what they need to focus on over at Xbox, over at PlayStation. They don't need to focus on, hey, 4K, HDR, 60 frames a second, graphic fidelity, your television. They don't need to focus on that. They don't need to worry about that shit. They need to worry about the handling of the game experience, whether or not you're going to want to pick it up and play it more than one time. The content in the game. My God, how many games are you guys going to release on both PlayStation and Xbox where the substance, the content, is just not there? You can say, oh, well, that's an opinion. But let me ask you something. How many games are more reliant on the Xbox and PlayStation, on season passes, add-ons, day one DLC? How many? How many games come out on those brands that are reliant on that day one DLC? Almost half, if not more. Day one DLC. The launch DLC. That is horrible. That is a horrible fucking rate. That means that the base game that you're getting is pure shit. It's fucked. There's no content. There's no substance. There's no base to it. This is the problem with these two. Yeah, sure. Their numbers for their system can be great. Certain games can sell great based off of the name alone. Call of Duty can sell wonderfully because it's Call of fucking Duty, and people won't fucking get it through their head not to buy it, and that's the only way that they're gonna make it the way you want it, is if you don't fucking buy it. Hey, why don't they go back to the way we want them to go? Because you're a fucking tool and you continually support them. So even though you bitch about it, they don't see anything wrong because you dumbasses continually support everything they do. If you didn't buy it every single fucking time it comes out, they would hear you. They would be like, oh, well, they're not only saying it, but they're actually not buying it. We haven't sold a single fucking copy. That's how you get shit done. But because there's too many fuckboys out there, there's too many fucking fanboys alongside those fuckboys, they're not going to change anything. The only reason you got World War II is because Battlefield 1 kicked them in the ass. That's the only reason. If Battlefield 1 wasn't around, this one wouldn't be here. And you could say that's a fucking opinion, but a fuck ton of people believe that shit. Not just me. So, hopefully Microsoft, hopefully Sony, you learned something from this Nintendo Direct for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because this is exactly what you need to treat your E3 like. I'm tired of hearing you talk about 4K, 60 frames a second, HDR graphical fidelity. Pardon me, I'm sick of hearing about it. So tired of it. I'm over it. The reason Nintendo's been getting a lot more attention from me, the reason I'm playing it more, is because they talk about the games. They talk about the content in the games. They talk about the in-game experience. They talk about the in-game playing. What happens while you play the game. That's why I've been giving them more of my time. Meanwhile, your game is missing substance. Your game is missing content. The shit that, you used to have. PlayStation 2 had a lot of it, which is why it's the highest selling console. Notice the PS3 didn't even come close. PS4 will not come close either, because you are missing content, which is also the substance and the lifeblood of it. Fix it. There's no reason, Sony, you can't do it again, but until you fix that part of it, you won't do it again. Oh, it's lightning in a bottle. No. PlayStation 2 had a lot of substance, which is content. Fix that. Okay? If you put content and you focus on the content and you focus on the game mechanics and you focus on the games, which is what made you sell so many fucking PS4s in the first place, you will definitely break 100 million units. You will definitely break 130 million units. But until you do that, you won't. And Xbox, until you do that, you're just going to be irrelevant, regardless of having the most powerful console on the market or not. Until you figure out exclusives matter, and content matters, and substance in the game fucking matters. Nintendo, fuck, you guys have it down to a T. PlayStation, Microsoft, copy the formula. It's right there. This Direct, fucking amazing. I cannot wait for December 1st, because this game looks amazing. And again, at the very end of that fucking Direct, what did they say? We've just scratched the fucking surface. If it didn't make you excited for that game, then you're a fuckboy. You might not like that game, and that's fine if you don't like that game. But what they did was they sold you on the overall experience. Something Xbox and PlayStation just don't do. Deuces.